Breaking news that affects literally every single person with a bank account. A massive federal banking rule just went live overnight, and it's already rolling out at Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and dozens of other banks this week. Here's what you absolutely need to know right now. This isn't just some buried policy change hidden in fine print. This is a fundamental shift in how banks verify who you are, monitor your spending, and flag your transactions. And it could directly impact your ability to access your own money. Most people won't even realize this happened until their account gets frozen without warning. But you're watching this right now, so you're already ahead of millions of people who are about to get blindsided. Before we go any further, if you want to stay updated on banking changes and financial rules that could impact your money, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. I break down these complex regulations into simple, actionable steps you can actually use. Let's dive in. Here's what happened. Federal banking regulators, working with the Treasury Department, finalized a new rule after over a year of development. The rollout started this week, and by the end of this month, nearly every bank in America will be operating under these requirements. This rule focuses on three main areas. First, enhanced identity verification. Banks now need to confirm way more details about who you are before allowing certain transactions. Second, expanded transaction monitoring. Automated systems are now scanning every transaction, looking for patterns they consider unusual or risky. And third, faster account restrictions. Banks can now freeze your account almost immediately if their system flags something as suspicious, even if you haven't actually done anything wrong. On the surface, this sounds good. Prevent fraud, catch criminals, stop money laundering. Those are the stated goals. But here's what regulators didn't advertise widely. The way these automated systems are configured means your normal, everyday banking activities could suddenly trigger alerts, delays, or your entire account getting frozen. And fixing it isn't easy. You have to prove to your own bank that your own money is legitimate. Let me give you real examples that are already happening. Imagine you sell something online for $2,000 or $3,000. Perfectly normal, totally legal, but if that amount is bigger than your usual transactions, the bank system flags it as suspicious. Your account gets temporarily frozen. You can't access any of your money. Your rent is due, your bills are on auto pay, and you're stuck waiting for days while they investigate. Or you're traveling out of state. You try to withdraw cash from an ATM. The bank sees activity in a location you don't normally use and flags it as fraud. Your card gets declined. Now you're stuck in another city without access to your money, trying to call customer service from a different country. Here's another one. You normally get paid the same amount every 2 weeks. Then 1 month you get a bonus or a tax refund. The deposit is 3 or 4 times larger than usual. That triggers a review. The bank puts a hold on your money. Not because they think you did anything illegal, but because the algorithm says this doesn't match your pattern. Now let me be clear about something. The government's goal here is legitimate. They want to crack down on money laundering, terrorist financing, fraud, and illegal activity. Those are real problems that need addressing, but here's the issue. Automated systems don't understand context. They can't tell the difference between someone selling their car and someone running an illegal operation. They just see numbers and patterns. When you fall outside the norm, even for completely innocent reasons, the system reacts. And here's what really worries financial experts. Once your account gets flagged, even if it's a false positive, that flag stays in your file. It becomes part of your banking history. Multiple flags, even if they're all innocent, can get your account labeled as high risk. Then banks can close your account, refuse to open new accounts for you, or report you to databases other banks check. Getting cleared from those lists can take months or even years. So what's changing this week, and what do you need to watch for? Starting immediately, banks are collecting and verifying additional information: your current phone number, address, email, and sometimes additional ID beyond your driver's license. If your bank can't verify this quickly, they'll restrict your account until you provide documents. And they don't always warn you first. The system just locks you out. Transaction limits are also being adjusted. Many banks are lowering daily withdrawal limits and transfer limits while they implement the new systems. What used to be $5,000 a day might drop to $1,000 or $2,500. If you regularly move money between accounts, pay bills, or run a small business from your personal account, check your bank's updated limits right now before you hit a wall. Cash deposits are getting serious scrutiny now. If you deposit cash, especially larger amounts like $1,000, $5,000, or $10,000, banks now have to verify where that came from much more aggressively. They'll ask where it's from, what it's for, why you're using cash instead of electronic transfer. If your explanation doesn't satisfy them, they can hold that deposit for days or weeks. This is brutal for people in cash-based industries or small business owners. Peer-to-peer apps like Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, and PayPal are under much heavier scrutiny. If you're receiving multiple payments, especially larger ones, the bank system might flag it as unreported income or business activity. And yes, this can freeze your entire bank account even though the activity happened on a third-party app. International transactions are being flagged aggressively too. Send money overseas, receive money from abroad, buy from international websites. All of that is now treated as high risk. The bank might block it completely and require you to call in and verify your identity before they let it through. If you have family abroad or travel frequently, this is going to be a major hassle. And here's what really frustrates consumer advocates. Banks don't have to notify you in advance when they implement these restrictions. The first time you find out there's a problem is when your card gets declined at the grocery store, your rent check bounces because your account was frozen, or you try to transfer money and get blocked. Then you're waiting on hold for an hour, explaining yourself to a representative with very limited ability to help, waiting for someone in fraud or compliance to manually review your account. Meanwhile, your money is locked, you can't pay bills, you can't buy groceries, you're just stuck. And almost nobody knows about this, but banks share information about flagged accounts with other financial institutions through databases. If your account gets flagged at one bank, even if it's a mistake, other banks might see that flag when you try to open an account with them. They can deny you or impose stricter limits from day one. One false positive can follow you around for months or even years. So here's your action plan to protect yourself this week. First, update your contact information with your bank immediately. Log in, go to your profile settings, and make absolutely sure your phone number, email, and mailing address are current. If the bank needs to reach you about a flagged transaction, they'll use this information. If it's outdated, you won't know what's happening. Second, review your recent transaction history. Look for anything unusual or out of pattern. Even if it's legitimate, even if you know exactly what it is, if it's different from normal, it could trigger the new systems. If you see something that might raise questions, call your bank proactively. Say something like, "Hey, I'm about to deposit an $8,000 check from selling my car. I wanted to give you a heads up so it doesn't get flagged." That simple call prevents days of problems later. Third, if you're planning any large transactions this week, any unusual deposits, any big purchases, any international transfers, prepare for extra scrutiny. Have documentation ready, keep receipts, save emails, screenshot conversations. If the bank questions the transaction, you want to prove it's legitimate quickly. The faster you provide documentation, the faster they clear the hold. Fourth, set up account alerts if you haven't already. Most banks offer free text or email alerts. Set them up for large withdrawals, large deposits, declined transactions, low balances, and account restrictions. This way, if something gets flagged, you know instantly instead of finding out hours later when you actually need your account. Fifth, know your bank's customer service options. Write down the fraud department and compliance team phone number. Save it in your phone. Know what hours they're available. Some banks have 24/7 support. Others only work business hours. If your account gets frozen Friday evening and compliance doesn't work weekends, you're locked out until Monday. Knowing this in advance helps you avoid being completely stuck. Sixth, if you run a small business or have side income, seriously consider separating your business banking from personal banking. The new monitoring systems get aggressive when they see business-like activity in personal accounts. Multiple payments from different people, frequent transfers, regular cash deposits. That all looks like business to the algorithm. Opening a basic business checking account keeps that activity separate and significantly reduces your risk. Seventh, if you use peer-to-peer apps frequently, Start documenting those transactions. Keep notes about who sent you money and why. If it's a friend paying you back for dinner, say that. If it's someone buying something you sold, keep the listing and conversation. Consider spreading out large payments if possible. Instead of one person sending you $1,000, have them send 500 twice. It sounds silly, but it genuinely reduces the risk of triggering algorithmic flags. Eighth, make sure you know how to access your account online and through your bank's mobile app. A lot of the new verification and restriction processes require digital access. You need to upload documents and respond to messages through the app. If you only bank in person or over the phone, you'll run into delays. Go to your branch this week if you need help setting up online access. Ninth, be extremely cautious about scams related to this rule change. Whenever there's a major banking change, scammers flood the market. You'll see fake emails, fake texts, fake calls claiming to be from your bank saying you need to verify your account immediately or provide personal information to comply. Here's what you need to remember. Your bank will never call you out of nowhere demanding account information. They'll never ask for your full social security number, your PIN, or your online banking password. They'll never threaten to close your account if you don't act immediately. If you get a message like that, it's a scam. Hang up, delete it. Don't click any links. Go directly to your bank's website by typing the address yourself or call the number on your debit card. Contact them through official channels and ask if there's actually a problem. Now, what if you do get caught up in this despite your best efforts? Your account gets flagged or frozen. Stay calm. I know it's frustrating. I know it's stressful, especially if you need that money right now. But getting angry at the customer service representative won't help. They didn't freeze your account personally. They're following policies created by regulators. Be polite but persistent. Ask specific questions. Why was my account flagged? What transaction triggered this? What documentation do you need? When can I expect access back? Get names, reference numbers, timelines. Document everything. Second, provide whatever documentation they request as quickly as possible. If they need payslips, send them. If they need receipts, send them. If they need additional ID, upload it through their secure system. The faster you respond, the faster they clear the flag. Third, if it's not resolved quickly through normal channels, escalate. Ask for a supervisor. Ask for someone in compliance. File a formal complaint through the bank's complaint process. If necessary, contact federal regulators. You can file complaints with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, your state's banking regulator, or the Federal Reserve. Banks take regulatory complaints seriously because they affect compliance ratings. Fourth, if you're completely locked out and need access for essentials like food, rent, or medical care, explain that clearly. Many banks have emergency procedures for releasing at least some funds in genuine hardship cases. They might not give you full access, but they might release $500 or $1,000 to cover critical needs while the investigation continues. And fifth, once this is resolved, seriously consider whether this is the right bank for you. If your account gets frozen multiple times, if the bank is consistently overly aggressive, if customer service is terrible and doesn't help you resolve issues quickly, you have the right to take your business elsewhere. Not all banks are implementing these rules the same way. Some are more reasonable and customer-friendly than others. Do your research, read reviews, and find a financial institution that balances security with common sense and good customer service. So here are the key takeaways you need to remember. The new banking rule is real. It's rolling out this week, and it will affect how your account is monitored and how quickly restrictions can be placed on your access to your money. This isn't fear-mongering. This is information you need to protect yourself. Update your contact information immediately. Review your transaction history. Be prepared for extra scrutiny on unusual activity. Document everything. Set up account alerts. Know how to reach your bank's compliance team. Stay alert for scams. Most importantly, understand that these automated systems make mistakes. They flag innocent people constantly. If it happens to you, it doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It just means you need to be prepared to prove your transactions are legitimate and navigate the bank's processes patiently until the issue is resolved. If this helped you understand what's happening and how to protect your account, hit subscribe so you don't miss future updates. Banking rules and financial regulations are constantly changing, and most people don't find out about them until they're already dealing with problems. By subscribing, you stay ahead of changes that could affect your wallet and your financial stability. Drop a comment below and let me know. Have you experienced account restrictions or frozen accounts before? What was the situation, and how did you resolve it? I read every comment, and your experiences help other people learn what to expect and how to handle these situations. Thanks for watching. Stay informed and stay protected.